Anmol, so good to have you, man. How you been?
I'm doing good, Anirudh. Pleasure. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. So actually, just to give you context, for those of you who are already watching some of Anmol's awesome videos on LinkedIn, I just feel like his motivational levels right now are off the charts, and I feel like I've been sitting at home and my productivity is actually taking a hit, and I thought there could be a lot of interesting learnings from what Anmol's been up to lately. To give you a little context about Anmol, he's done over 10,000 hours of public speaking. He's actually one of our instructors or experts on Masterlife, and he's created this awesome program on how to improve your public speaking skills in 30 days. I actually cold emailed Anmol and I was like, this guy was the president of the Bangalore Toastmasters Club. We gotta have him. So, and Anmol's been really sweet in being part of this platform and even being excited about it. But anyway, I one of the reasons why we want to create this Zoom call, Anmol, is because I feel like there are a lot of content creators like you out there that were doing things a certain way pre-COVID, pre this whole coronavirus happened, and I think it's taken everybody by storm, right? Like people just are trying to adapt. Some people, I think, are obviously very shaken up. Some people are losing jobs. I mean, it's a crazy time out there. But I'm curious more about what was happening to you pre-COVID in terms of your day-to-day, and then post the news in the last 3 weeks to a month. How have your behaviors or attitudes changed in any way?
Sure. Just goes back to a story my father told me when I was in sixth standard, and he said that if your friend throws you or pushes you into a well, will you be stuck inside and start abusing your friend, or will you figure out ways to get out?
I'll mostly abuse my
Right?
friend first, though.
Of course, I mean the first few fleeting moments you will abuse, and you'll have the choicest of words.
Right,
But then the magic lies how fast can you move to the solution side of things,
right.
right? So I think we are pretty much in the same situation. This crisis, caught us completely unaware. It has forced us into a recession, and no one was prepared. No one was prepared. So pre-COVID, we were going very strong on our offline trainings. We were doing online as well, and things couldn't be better. We were doing a lot of work, working with a lot of organizations. In fact, we had 4 keynote addresses during the month of April. These were all sessions for sales teams. So yeah, things were looking smooth, and there you go.
Actually, just to
We
just
had
to
a
give guys, just to give you context, so Anmol runs a sales training organization. He also does stand up as well as does public speaking. So, like, you've been doing three things, and what you were referring to was your sales side of things, right?
yes. So my company is called Sales 5X. So there's a lot of work that we do with sales teams and entrepreneurs. So yeah, it all came crashing down in the sense that a lot of all the offline stuff got cancelled. And luckily, our last year itself, we had decided we'll move online. We took a conscious call. We did close to about 104 webinars, before the crisis hit. So we've been in the online space and quite aggressive at that. And once we were hit by this crisis, we realized that look, firstly, it was a good call to go online. Now we just need to go more aggressive. So that's what we did. And in fact, the numbers are all adding up. We're seeing a massive improvement in the numbers which are coming in, people attending our daily webinars, people converting. So yeah,
So, is there a
from
reason
that
why?
perspective, yeah.
I'm curious. So, obviously, is there a reason why you've picked webinars over, let's say, pre-recorded content that you're using to kind of push these trainings up?
Yeah, a webinar is more inclusive, it's more interactive, it's more of the real deal vis-a-vis
Mm.
pre-recorded content, because there's some element of passiveness involved in the whole experience. I'm not saying we do pre-recorded content as well, but a webinar gives us that chance to actually have a conversation, because the chat is running, and at the same time we do a lot of role plays, unmute people, get them to talk. So it's kind of simulating the real offline.
Nice.
So I believe there's a lot of power in that one-on-one interaction. So that's where I think webinars are still very powerful compared to pre-recorded versions.
Yeah, interesting. I feel like Anmol, like I've been following you on LinkedIn consistently. I watch a lot of your stand-up content as well, and kudos to that, man. I'm actually very curious, right? I feel like my motivational levels have dropped, and I feel like I'm just seeing more content from you being delivered on a weekly basis. And what's kind of kept you on the ground and still running at this speed?
I think I think COVID has actually boosted my productivity, so to speak, except for the sleeping part, because I'm sleeping quite late, getting up late. But then bulk of the other time, I'm just working, and that's also because I'm not married. So that gives me a lot of time. So now you know it, Anirudh.
Yeah,
Hope your wife's
number
not
one reason
around,
of
but
productivity is being single.
yeah, that is. At the end of the day, it is. I'm not saying we can always debate whether it's good or bad, but yeah, you
Sure.
have a lot of time with you. You have a lot of time with you. And the other thing, which really keeps me going is I prime my mind every day. So I religiously spend about 40-45 minutes every morning. So when I wake up, I don't immediately check my phone, because again, then I'm going to be sucked into the negativity. I don't get up and then, possibly get onto a phone call, because again, I don't know what's coming. I just wake up and then do like a creative visualization and imagine the success, the abundance, play some good soothing music. And I think that sets me up for the day, and that keeps me grounded. And that's pretty much the same thing that I do before sleeping as well. These are very two crucial times, before sleeping and after you wake up. And then that keeps me, in a way, it helps me take the emotion out of the game. So yes, there's a loss to business. That's fine. So it makes me more stoic in a certain way. And they said, look, let's just produce good content. Let's keep the focus on the work. The results will take care of itself. Like,
Right.
to give you an example, every time I produce a stand-up video, uh, I'm like, man, this is going viral. This stuff is gonna blow through the roof. This is where my millions are gonna come from. I launch the video and nothing happens. I mean, people watch it, they love it, they share it, great, but it's not that 10 million reach, right?
Sure.
Now, there are two ways to look into it. Either I come back, oh my god, this shit is not happening, and get into that circle, or like, okay, people liked it, people shared it, but maybe something is missing. We can do a lot better. Let's look at distribution. Who's it that I can work with? Who can get the content across to more people? So I think it's that shift. It's that conscious shift from playing victim or getting into a blame game to, hey, what's going wrong? Let's look at this objectively and let's just keep focus on uh, the work, getting the stuff done, and then the rest will fall in place. I think that's what keeps me going.
That's a By the way, that's amazing to hear. I was actually going to just there were three, I think, very key insights that you brought up. One was the visualization and the time away from all this technology in the morning, right? Because I feel like the screen times have tremendously gone up. So you getting the 45 minutes in first time, I mean, the first thing in the day, and then at the end of the day, I feel like that's disruptive. Second is the fact that you are actually there were shit I forgot there were two other things that you mentioned. I feel like you set your bar really high when you said 10 million. A lot of people don't even say I want to get 10 million views, right? The fact that you've set your bar
Right.
high, I think suddenly makes it like, you know what, I'm going to continue doing this till I get to that level. And then the third is that you're using the feedback loop. Hey, what can we
Right.
do better, right? So I think that's amazing. Walk me through your day now. How does your day start? Because I feel like there are a lot of things that so you start with your visualization, right? After that, how do you
Yes.
kind of progress to different parts of your day?
So post that, so this is typically 10:30. I wake up 10:30. So yeah, that's not the best thing to do. But yes, I sleep 2:30. So I have my good 8-9 hours of sleep. I wake up, I do visualization, and then I move to social media. Reply back to comments, emails, messages which have come through. Then get onto a call with my business partner. We do an analysis of the webinar, where we stand. So that's like a good 2.5, 3 hours, which takes me to lunchtime. Have lunch, but before lunch, I put in about at least 120 push-ups. That's the target. Uh, and then yeah,
I was going to
yeah,
ask you, see, again, like this fitness, I find this whole 120 push-ups irrational as a number itself, right? Like people are struggling with 5 push-ups, Anmol. So again, what's your psyche, or what's the mindset behind saying I'm going to do push-ups?
I've been doing this for the last 7 years, so I don't think it takes a lot for me to. So in a day, I clock 300 push-ups, and to be honest, I think it's easily achievable. In fact, I'm lazy. It's not that I can't. I can do a lot more than that. So before lunch, sometimes I become lazy. So then I have to pump up the music, push myself, and then so, sometimes I get into that zone. Oh my God, come on, because it takes a lot from you, though
Right.
it's possible. But yeah, sometimes you have to push yourself and have lunch and then try to create content, so with sales 5x sales related content, or if it's stand up, so we typically spend 1.5 hours trying to think of, okay, what's my next material going to be on. So typically the afternoon is more from a creator standpoint,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes it's frustrating because you don't get the lines, right?
Yeah.
Creativity is not so much of you sitting down, okay, I need the script right now.
Yeah.
My best of my ideas, as people say, are in showers. It's when I'm driving and randomly this thing comes in. So
Yeah.
yeah, so but still, you got to make a conscious effort to be creative. So
Since you brought that up, I just feel like in the future you should set up like a hackathon session. Basically, it's a 3-day session with Anmol where you sit, you create content together, you guys do push-ups together. Dude, I would attend that. Like if you told me,
I would
Ani,
love to do that.
yeah, like
I would love to do that.
you bring 10 people together and say, guys, each of us are going to create 10 videos this weekend. And we
Right.
just like rough it out, sleep, get up, create this content, edit this content, push it out, like, and then we do push-ups. I just feel like that's a fascinating idea that you could implement it. Once this COVID thing obviously simmers down a little bit.
That's a lovely idea, Anirudh. I think that's a lovely idea. I think the kind of content that can come through that exercise will be unmatchable, because suddenly you've got 10 minds working, you can validate, and each
Yeah,
one adds their own thing. So I have this little WhatsApp group and I bounce off my lines to that group. But then yes, getting them in person,
yeah.
right? I think it's
And
gonna be one heck of a
and you could curate that
rave
audience.
party.
I know we have digressed a little bit, but we could curate that audience. Like one is a salesperson,
Right.
one's an executive coach, one's a, I don't know, like a yoga person, right? Like that could be such an amazing product, dude. You should implement this, and I would
I
come
will. I will.
and do.
Thank you for this idea. Knowing you, I'm sure you have a lot more ideas. So I should hit upon
for,
more conversations with you.
for sure, man. Anyway, I want to obviously this is I don't want to take too much of your time. We're doing this at 10 o'clock in the night. But Anmol, what's some of the advice that you would give people? Because there are people like you, me. We need to start creating content. We need to adapt to these times, especially a lot of individuals that used to do, let's say, one-on-one consulting or coaching, and like now they're forced to get out of their comfort zone, right? So, what's some of the things that you would tell them to say, get out and start creating content?
Yes. One, of course, is from a content perspective. At these times, there's a huge spike in content consumption. So don't think twice. Don't wait for that perfect start. Don't wait for that perfect video. Just go out and do it. It doesn't matter. People like raw. People like being vulnerable. People connect with them. In fact, that's my LinkedIn post, which I just did about a couple of hours back. So I was talking to an expert who's an expert in fitness, and this person declined to come on an interview. This guy is simply amazing. He's my gym buddy as well, but he's like, hey, no, I don't want to do this. And I'm like, dude, you're missing out on so many clients, because of the information that you have. So he said he's a little camera shy, but guys, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So create content. It might just not be videos. At least start with simple posts, but put it out there. Put it out there for
Right.
people to see you. That's fairly simple in today's world.
Yeah, and
So that's one.
we make it so much about ourselves, right? Honestly,
Yes.
people are just looking for the message. They're not looking so
True,
much about
true,
the
true.
messenger, right? So
True. A lot of people think that others are thinking about you. The truth is, no one's thinking about you.
yeah, yeah. It's a great reality check.
Yeah, it is. It is. No,
It
no
is.
one's thinking about you, right? Even if you
Yeah,
goof up, they're gonna forget it,
yeah,
right? So it doesn't matter. Don't wait for that, perfect start, right? Start. So as they say, you can't go back and create a perfect. Uh, oh man, I screwed up on that line.
you can't
You
go
can't
back.
go back and have you can't go back and have a perfect beginning, but you can start now to make sure you have a perfect ending.
Beautiful. I feel like you have like three. We're not editing this. You just said people like raw. This is going up. This is not me editing. But dude, you're all about this. Sir. I feel like you have 300 one-liners in your head. Just like ready to roll out. So it's fine.
Yeah. Oh man, I love the fact that I just gave this whole gyan about people like this, and then like I just cut it out. This should go to my stand-up at least. Oh man, that's nice.
Awesome, man. Anyway, I'm looking forward to catching up with you once this whole COVID thing simmers down. But thank you for doing this. And obviously, I'm going to push this out on LinkedIn. So if you have any like ideas associated with over and above what we have covered already, feel free to add it to the comments.
Sure, I will do that. And you should do more of this, buddy. I think you should. You should like at least pack in, I don't know, 2-3 a day.
For sure,
I'm sure
man.
There's going to be a massive value add for your audience.
Let's do it. Awesome, Anmol. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.